Welcome to Stories and Quotes B. Today, you are about to hear the voice of Abdullah, the mysterious Ethiopian mystic who mentored Neville Goddard. What follows is a complete, unbroken teaching on why your words have no power and exactly how to change that. Listen deeply. Most people speak affirmations, prayers, and declarations all day long, and nothing changes. They say, I am wealthy while feeling poor. They say, I am loved while feeling alone. They say, I am healed while feeling sick. Words, 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 but no power. I am Abdullah. I taught Neville Goddard everything he knew about consciousness and manifestation, and today I will teach you why your words carry no weight and exactly how to change that. But I must warn you that what I am about to share will disturb you, because you will realize you have been speaking backwards your entire life. Most people never discover this. They live and die speaking from the wrong place, and their words remain just noise in their throat. But once you understand what I teach today, you will never speak the same again. Let us begin. Before we go further, you must understand two things. If you miss these, everything else will sound interesting, but it will not work for you. First truth, your words do not create your reality. Your consciousness creates your reality. Your words simply reveal which consciousness you are speaking from. This is critical. Most people think words have power by themselves. They do not. A beggar can say, I am rich 1,000 times. He will remain a beggar. Why? Because his words come from the consciousness of poverty. The word is not the power. The state you speak from is the power. Second truth, you cannot speak higher than the identity you assume. This is law. If you assume you're someone trying to become wealthy, your words will be the words of one who tries. If you assume you are someone begging for love, your words will be the words of one who begs. But if you assume you are the one who already has, your words become confirmation, not petition. This changes everything. Now, listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you. In the Bible, in the Gospel of John, there is a sentence that reveals the entire mystery. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That word is not speech. In the Greek, it is logos. But I am not Greek. I am Ethiopian. I studied the Kabbalah and Hebrew mysticism long before I came to teach in New York. The concept behind logos existed thousands of years before the Greeks gave it that name. In Hebrew thinking, which is the foundation of all scripture, a word is never just sound. A word is something that does. The Hebrew concept is dabar, word and action combined. When God spoke in Genesis, creation did not hear information. Creation heard command. Let there be light was not a request. It was an act. The word carried the authority of the one who spoke it. And here is what you must understand about authority. Authority does not come from volume. It does not come from repetition. It does not come from emotion. Authority comes from the state of consciousness behind the word. When a king speaks, his word carries authority not because of the sound of his voice, but because of the consciousness of kingship he occupies. When a beggar speaks, his word carries no authority, not because his voice is weak, but because he occupies the consciousness of lack. Same mouth, same tongue, different consciousness, different authority. This is what you must understand. Words are not sounds you make with your mouth. Words are the audible expression of your assumed identity. Show me someone's words and I will tell you exactly who they think they are. Most people speak from the consciousness of lack. They speak toward their desire, hoping to get it. This is why their words have no power. But there is another way, and this is what I taught Neville. You must speak from the consciousness of fulfillment. You must speak as the one who already has, not trying to convince yourself, not pretending, not hoping, speaking from the state of the wish fulfilled. Let me show you exactly how this works. When Neville came to me in 1931, he came seeking techniques. He wanted methods. He wanted formulas to manifest what he desired. But I told him something he did not expect to hear. I said, start with self, find self, change that self. You see, Neville thought his problem was his circumstances. He thought if he could just change his conditions, his life would improve. But conditions are not the problem. Identity is the problem. This is what most people never understand. They try to change their circumstances while keeping the same identity. And this is impossible. Your circumstances are the reflection of your identity. Change your identity and your circumstances must change. Keep your identity and your circumstances will remain the same, no matter how many words you speak. Now, here's where most people fail. They hear this teaching and they try to force themselves to feel it. They try to manufacture the feeling of having their desire. But this is still backwards. You cannot force consciousness. You can only assume it. Let me give you the exact method. Step 1. Know who you would be if your desire was already fulfilled. Not what you would have, who you would be. Most people focus on the things, the money, the relationship, the success. But things are effects. Identity is cause. Who would you be if you already had everything you desired? Peaceful, certain, at rest. Then you must assume that identity now, not later. Now. This is not pretending. This is not positive thinking. This is assuming the state of the wish fulfilled. And let me be very clear about what assumption means. Assumption is not belief. Belief implies doubt. You believe something because you are not certain. Assumption is certainty. It is the act of taking something as fact before the senses confirm it. When you assume something, you no longer question it. You no longer look for evidence. You no longer need proof. You simply are it. This is the foundation. Without this, nothing else works. Step 2. Settle into that identity before you speak. Most people speak from anxiety. They speak from lack. They speak from fear that it might not happen. This reveals they have not yet assumed the state. Before you open your mouth, you must settle into the consciousness of the one who already has. Take a moment. Be still. Feel the relief of having it already done. Feel the peace of knowing it is yours. This is not visualization. This is assumption. You are not imagining a future event. You are occupying a present state. And once you occupy that state, your words will naturally change. You will not need to think about what to say. The right words will come from the state itself. This is the difference between speaking from effort and speaking from being. When you speak from effort, you must construct your words carefully. You must monitor them. You must force them to sound positive. When you speak from being, your words flow naturally from your assumed state. They carry the tone of certainty without trying. Step 3. Speak as confirmation, not as request. Here is what separates the one who manifests from the one who begs. The beggar says, "Please give me." The one who has says, "It is done." The beggar speaks toward God, hoping to be heard. The one who has speaks from God, knowing they already are heard. This is not arrogance. This is understanding. Your words must not ask for what you want. Your words must confirm what you already have in consciousness. I am wealthy is not a petition. It is a statement of identity. I am loved is not a hope. It is a fact of your assumed state. I am healed is not a future event. It is your present reality in consciousness. Speak it as done, because in consciousness, it is done. And here is something most people miss. The tone of your words matters more than the words themselves. You can say, "I am wealthy," in a tone of desperation. This reveals you do not believe it. Or you can say, "I am wealthy," in a tone of calm knowing. This reveals you have assumed it. The words are the same. The consciousness is different. Listen to your own voice when you speak your desire. Does it sound like certainty or does it sound like hope? If it sounds like hope, you have not yet assumed the state. Return to step 1. Step 4, persist in the assumption when the senses deny it. Now, here's what will test you. Your physical senses will deny your assumption. Your bank account will show lack. Your body will show symptoms. Your circumstances will show the opposite of what you have assumed. This is when most people abandon the state. They say it is not working, and they return to their old identity. But I tell you, this is exactly when you must persist. The physical world is always the last to change. Consciousness is first, then the physical conforms. When your senses deny your assumption, you do not argue with them. You simply return to your state. You do not explain why it has not appeared yet. You do not justify or defend your assumption. You simply remain in the state of the wish fulfilled. And your words during this time must remain the words of one who has, not the words of one who waits. This is persistence, not of effort, but of identity. There is a period between assumption and manifestation. I call this the interval. During the interval, nothing appears to change. The senses see no evidence. The mind questions whether it is working. This is where 99 out of 100 people fail. They cannot bear the interval. They need immediate proof. They need signs. They need validation. But the interval is sacred. It is the gestation period. Seeds do not sprout the moment they are planted. There is always an interval. Your job during the interval is simple. Remain in the state. Do not monitor the outer world for signs of change. Do not check your circumstances to see if it is working. Simply be the one who already has. This is faith, not belief in a future event, but assumption of a present reality in consciousness. Now, I know what you're thinking, Abdullah. I understand this teaching, but when I try to apply it, I fall back into my old identity. The doubt comes back. The fear returns. This is natural. The old identity does not die easily. It has been your companion for years. It will fight to reclaim its throne. This is why I want you to comment the word reset below this video. When you do, you will receive the Manifest Reset Guide. This guide contains 5 specific resets that return you to the state of the wish fulfilled when you have fallen out. Because you will fall out. Everyone does. Even Neville fell out in the beginning, but falling out does not mean failure. It means you need a reset. These 5 resets will show you exactly how to return to your assumed state instantly. When doubt appears, when fear creeps in, when your circumstances try to convince you nothing has changed, you will have a way back. Come and reset now. Get the guide. And let me continue with something most people never discover. The quality of your words reveals the quality of your consciousness. Listen to how people speak, not what they say, but how they say it. Do their words carry weight, or do they sound hollow? Do their words sound like certainty or like hope? Do they come from rest or from striving? This tells you everything about their inner state. Let me show you this principle through a student of Neville's named Freedom Barry. Freedom graduated from the New England Conservatory of Music. He was born in poverty, an orphan as a child, but he had one great love: music. He owned a grand piano. This piano was not merely an instrument. It was the voice through which his soul spoke. When he played, he forgot his troubles. When he played, he touched something eternal. One day, Freedom sent his piano to the factory for repairs. The work cost $400. This was not a small sum for him, but the piano needed it. The factory required him to come test the piano before delivery. This was their policy. So Freedom made the journey. He sat at the piano, he played, he felt the keys respond perfectly. Everything was exactly as it should be. They scheduled delivery for a Wednesday. Wednesday came. Freedom waited at home all day, no piano. Thursday came, still no piano. He called the factory. They apologized. We are waiting for a full load. The truck will come when we have enough deliveries for your area. It will be next Wednesday. So Freedom waited another week. The following Wednesday arrived. Again, he stayed home all day. Again, no piano. This time, when he called, the voice on the other end sounded different, uncertain, concerned. Sir, we have a situation. Our driver and the truck and its entire contents have disappeared. We cannot locate him. We do not know where your piano is. Freedom felt his stomach drop. What do you mean disappeared? The driver had left 3 days ago to make deliveries. He never returned. The truck was gone. Everything in it was gone. They had contacted the police. The next day, Freedom called again. Still no word. The driver had vanished. The truck had vanished. Freedom's piano, containing every penny of value he owned, had vanished with them. The piano was insured for $2,000, but Freedom knew he could not replace it for $4,000. The insurance process would take months, and in the meantime, he had no income, no piano, no way to do the one thing that gave his life meaning. He called Neville in desperation. Neville, he said, and his voice carried all the strain of those days. Every penny I have is locked up in that piano. I have no income at the moment. My only joy is to play. You are the only one I can turn to. Neville listened. He understood. Then he said something simple. I will take care of it. Now, here is what Neville did, and this reveals everything I taught him. Neville did not tell Freedom to affirm my piano is safe. He did not tell Freedom to visualize the piano returning. And he did not give Freedom a technique to practice. He did something different. After hanging up the telephone, Neville sat in his chair. He closed his eyes, and he heard Freedom play, not in the future, not as a hope, not as a possibility. Now, in his imagination, as real as any physical sound, he heard the music. He could feel Freedom's shoulders beneath his hands. He could feel the smooth wood of the piano. And he heard the notes, clear and perfect, filling the room. Not hope for music, not imagination of music. He heard it as though Freedom were playing in that very moment. That night, a classical music program came on the radio, KFAC. Between 8 and 10 o'clock, a piano concerto. Neville used the sound to aid his imagination. As the music played through the radio, Neville imagined it was Freedom playing. He placed his hands on Freedom's shoulders in his mind. He thanked him for the joy the music gave. He felt the piano beneath Freedom's fingers. He reveled in the beauty of the sound. He did this for several nights, always the same, hearing the music as though it were happening now, feeling the reality of Freedom at his piano, not hoping, not wishing, simply hearing and feeling from the state of completion. On the morning of the fourth day at 4:30 a.m., there was a knock on Freedom's door. The piano had been delivered. The driver had been found in San Luis Obispo. The police had arrested him, he had confessed, the truck had been recovered, and now, in the early morning darkness, Freedom's piano had come home. When Freedom called Neville the next day, his voice was different. The strain was gone. The fear was gone. In its place was wonder. How did you do it? He asked. And Neville told him the truth. I did nothing. I simply heard you play. Do you see what happened here? Neville did not speak words into empty air. He did not say 1,000 affirmations. He did not monitor the outer circumstances for signs of change. He heard the music first within himself. He occupied the consciousness of Freedom playing. From that consciousness, the word went forth, silent, invisible, but absolute. The outer world had no choice but to conform. Neville could have said, the piano is safe, 1,000,000 times. But if he felt fear while saying it, if he felt doubt, if he felt uncertainty, the words would be powerless. Instead, he assumed the consciousness of completion. He heard what would be heard if the piano were already returned. He felt what would be felt if Freedom were already playing. The word became flesh. This is the principle. Your words reveal your consciousness. Your consciousness creates your reality. Change the consciousness and the words change automatically. Change the words without changing consciousness and nothing happens. What changed? Not the outer circumstances, through effort. Neville's consciousness changed. And when his consciousness changed, his inner hearing changed. And when his inner hearing changed, reality had to change. This is law. Now, there's one more thing I must teach you, and this is perhaps the most important. Your words create nothing new. Your words simply call forth what already exists in consciousness. People think manifestation is about creating something from nothing, but this is not true. Everything already exists. All possibilities already exist in the infinite field of consciousness. Your assumption selects which possibility becomes your reality, and your words declare which possibility you have selected. When you say, I am wealthy, you are not creating wealth. You are declaring that in consciousness, you have selected the reality where you are wealthy. When you say, I am healed, you are not creating healing. You are declaring that in consciousness, you have selected the reality where you are healed. Your words are a declaration of selection. Nothing more, nothing less. This is why your words must come from assumption, because assumption is the act of selection. You assume the state, then you declare it with your words. Then reality conforms to your assumption. This is the order. Never reverse it. Now, let me give you a practice. This is something I gave to very few students, but I give it to you now. When you wake in the morning, before you speak to anyone, before you check your circumstances, before you look at what lacks, do this. Assume the identity of the one who already has everything they desire. not the things themselves, the identity. Who would you be if all your desires were fulfilled? Feel that. Become that in consciousness. Then from that state, say these words: it is done. I am who I have chosen to be. Not I will be, not I hope to be. I am present tense, present state, present reality in consciousness. Say it once with certainty, with finality, as one who knows. Then go about your day from that state. Let your words, your actions, your thoughts all flow from that state. Do not check your bank account to see if it has changed. Do not examine your body to see if it has healed. Do not search for signs that your desire is coming. Simply be the one who already has. This is the secret of the morning practice. It sets your consciousness for the entire day. It establishes your identity before the world makes its demands on you. Most people wake up and immediately check their circumstances. They see the lack, they feel the problem, and they spend the rest of the day speaking from that state. But you will do differently. You will establish your state first. Then you will move through your day from that state, regardless of what the senses show you. Do this every morning and watch what happens. Not immediately, not overnight, but persistently, faithfully, without wavering. The outer world will begin to conform to your inner state. This is law. This is how creation works. This is what I taught Neville, and this is what I teach you. And now I leave you with this final truth. Your words will never be more powerful than the consciousness they come from. You can speak for hours, you can affirm for days, you can declare for weeks. But if your consciousness has not shifted, if your assumption has not changed, if your identity remains the same, your words will accomplish nothing. Change your consciousness first. Assume the state of the wish fulfilled first. Become the one who already has first. Then speak, and your words will carry the authority of heaven itself. This is the secret. This is the law. This is what most people never learn, but you have learned it today. Now go and apply it. And if you want to go even deeper into this teaching, there is something I must tell you about. Something I taught Neville in private that he rarely shared publicly. It is the advanced identity shift, the technique that goes beyond feeling it real, the method that makes assumption effortless and permanent. I reveal this in the next teaching, Beyond Feeling It Real, the advanced identity shift. That teaching is showing up on your screen right now. Watch it next, because if you have come this far, you are ready for what comes next. I am Abdullah, and I have given you the foundation today. Now go build upon it. Thank you for listening to this teaching from Abdullah. If it has touched you, please subscribe to Stories and Quotes B for more wisdom that transforms. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, change your consciousness first, then your words will carry the authority of heaven. Until next time, be the one who already has.